keynote speaker, first up, is Nathan Pendleton with Hasbro. I know Hasbro is a big part of my family. We have family game night. We were talking about our favorite family games to play. I'm a Clue person, but Sorry takes the cake in our house. You are the senior manager of the Omnichannel Marketing there. And fun fact, you share an office with Optimus Prime.
I do share an office with Optimus Prime, yeah.
A lot of people here would love to have that job.
It's a good job to have.
Let me get out of your way.
All right, good morning. Glad you all could be here with us today. I wanted to get things started today just talking about some kind of preliminary things you should do as you're getting ready to go into a campaign and then as you're kind of ending your campaign. So I'm not going to actually show you any examples or case studies of things that I have done, but just some little kind of tips and tricks and things that I've done along the way to kind of help me learn a little bit more about what I want to achieve and my objectives and making sure that we're able to work better with our partners and achieve the results we want overall. So hopefully, good, I went the right way. So Project KickOff. Every marketing opportunity, in my opinion, should start with an insight. You should know exactly what it is that's driving the purchase and what you want to learn about your consumer and where you want to take that insight to the next level. So make sure you have a strong understanding of what it is that you're looking to achieve and get out of everything so that you can really move forward. Work with your teams, work locally, understand what's driving them. Make sure you have a clear strategy. A lot of people go into a campaign and we want to achieve 18 different things for sales. We want to achieve 10 different things for our brand campaigns. We've got 5 things we want to achieve for Walmart or our other retailer. And we go in with this huge strategy to cover all consumers and grow our business and triple sales. But you've got to be really specific about what it is that you want to learn and what you want to know and what you want to grow. So here you'll see I've got a meeting slide posted. Make sure that you're meeting with everyone who's part of this campaign. That's replenishment, that's sales, that's your shopper marketing team, that's your brand team, and that's Walmart. So if you're working with Walmart or any other retailer, what are their objectives for your campaign? Get their buy-in on the front side, make sure they understand what you're doing, what you're trying to achieve, and that'll really help you take your plan to the next level with them as well. And then the third kind of key pillar for me when you start is a brainstorm. Excuse me. That may sound a little crazy, but I feel like we all kind of understand our consumer path to purchase, or we think we do. But what I understand from a marketing or e-commerce side versus what my in-store sales team understands versus my replenishment team is completely different. So really work and try to understand what's driving your consumer and what you want to learn and what the size of the prize is. If you go in with a plan to achieve an extra $75 million in sales for 6 months. And obviously I made that number up because if you can do that, then you should be up here right now. And all day, just talking. But make sure you know, like, if I go, if I win, if I hit this consumer, this is what it means to me, and this is what I can do on the backside. Have to excuse me, my leg keeps shaking. I'm kind of nervous up here. And then what are you going to do to achieve your total category growth? So this is what's really important to Walmart and what's really important to me as a marketer for Walmart is what am I doing that's going to drive their total category? Because if you're a key player in that category or even a small player in that category, if you can drive the total category, you're going to be driving sales for Walmart and that's going to generate more for you holistically. Second thing is to kind of go from that big overview meeting, your big insight, and bring your program into focus. So the first thing I do is I set very clear KPIs. So what are we going to measure? How are we going to measure it? I know that sounds really basic, but you'd be surprised how many times I've ended a program and someone says, hey, what did we learn about this? And we didn't study that. That wasn't part of the program. That wasn't what was included. So make sure everyone is aligned on your KPIs. Again, that's across the board, sales, brand, retailer, everybody. And make sure everyone is aligned on how you're going to measure those results. Measurement is really important, and make sure you communicate that to all of your media partners as well so that they understand what your expectations are on the backside of that campaign from a reporting standpoint. And then the third piece here is what can you do in order to gain additional support for future campaigns. So if you're like me, pretty much every campaign I have to do is a new campaign because I have to go in and repitch for money or ask for additional money. So if I can take them a strategy where I'm saying, this is the campaign I'm doing for Easter, this is the campaign I'm going to be doing through summer, this is my campaign for fall, these 3 campaigns together are going to deliver X, and these are deliveries that I'm going to hit for you in April, in August, and again in December, then they're very clear on what we're doing and what our goals are, and I can get that additional funding to really create a full year strategy that you really need in order to do the best campaign overall for your customer. Kind of the second piece here is conversion. I mean, that's what we're all doing with a marketing campaign. We want to sell people stuff. Pretty basic, not a surprise there. But think about where you're driving the consumer. Where are you driving them in store? Is it a pallet? Is it the modular? Is it front of store? Is it grocery pickup? What are you doing from that side? Where are you driving them online? Is it a brand page? Is it a product page? Is it a collection page? Are those pages ready to go? Is that the best page you've built? Does it have the right assets? Is there a clear call to action? What else would that customer need to know about your product in order to convert? If you can't give them all the information you can, they're not going to convert. And conversion is the key piece of all of that. And then understand how that experience differs between channels. Ideally, they should look as close as possible. It should be pretty much the same call to action, no matter what you're trying to achieve. But make sure you understand that when you're talking to someone online through digital media versus you're talking to someone in store through print, signs, maybe Walmart radio, there's 2 very different messages there and 2 very different actions. So make sure you're taking that into account. It's not just a one-size-fits-all. And test different messaging. Don't be afraid to test one thing online, one thing in store. Make sure you know what that messaging is. And then third here, everyone's favorite word, budget. So make sure you understand your budget. Make sure your media partners understand your budget. Make sure you understand all the different components of your budget. Are coupons coming out of this? Is this just digital media? Does this count for in-store signage? There's lots of different components there that can cause a program to go off course halfway through planning. And it's really, really important that you stay within that budget, or at least it is for me. Hopefully it is for you as well. And that you understand what that budget is going to get you on the back end. So again, I know this stuff sounds kind of, oh yeah, that all makes sense. Everyone should know this, but I'm really surprised when I sat down with the brand teams and start going through my different activations, and they're like, well, we gave you $150,000 to do all this. And I'm like, that's true, and here's what that money went to. They're amazed at how much doesn't actually go directly into the media, or how much doesn't actually go into the conversion driving of the sale. So make sure you're very clear on the campaign, the budgeting, and the money, so that they understand what they're getting for their programs. All right, and then I'm going to end you today with the follow-up, the post-activation side, because this is the piece that I feel like doesn't get executed as well throughout all programs, and it's really, really important. So we talked about KPIs, we talked about having clear measurements, but did you measure it? Did you achieve your KPIs? What did those KPIs look like? And what did you learn about the consumer that you didn't learn before, or that you weren't expecting to know? So tracking, this is something that I think is extremely important. How did the program deliver to your objectives? Did you hold your media partners accountable for achieving the objectives you set for them? How did that campaign compare with the other campaigns you've run? If you have run 3 campaigns over the past year, you should know the ROI for each of those. You should know the different tactics that contributed to that ROI. And if someone comes to you and asks you, if you were to run a campaign again, what would you differently to do better? You should be able to take all 3 of those campaigns and together give them, this is my new plan to achieve X ratio again, based on these 3 learnings for each of these campaigns. So track them. Track against your national benchmarks, track against your national retailer benchmarks, track against your brand benchmarks and your national media benchmarks. Know what those are. If your brand teams don't have those, if your media partners don't have those, challenge them. You need those. You need to be able to go back and tell people, we delivered X or we missed X, and there's nothing wrong with saying we missed X. That happens all the time in marketing. You want to achieve this and you hit 2 out of 3 of your objectives. Just because you didn't hit that third objective doesn't mean that you failed in that objective. Sometimes what you learn by missing that objective is even more important than if you would have hit that objective. So be very honest about what it is that you're trying to achieve and how you achieved it. And then third is communicate those. Again, on the back end, you've gone to your brand teams or your national media teams, you've gotten funding, you've gotten money, you've told them how you're going to measure it. Did you go back? Did you show them what you learned? Did you take them a report? Did you walk them through it? Not just sending an email, send out a calendar request with the email, schedule a meeting, take those teams through those learnings. What you learned, what you know now that you didn't know then. It's very, very important, not only for you, but for your company. That's going to help them learn more about Walmart, more about that consumer, and more about their program so they can make them even better. And then also make sure and take your retailer back through those programs. Oftentimes we talk about executions and different marketing campaigns, but we never share any of that back with Walmart, or we never share any of that back with maybe other suppliers. I know that sounds really odd. Why would I share what I did with other suppliers? I think when you look at the group of people here today, we can all do better and we can all learn from each other. And there's lots of different things that you can learn across categories. So what I may personally be doing in toys, you may think doesn't apply to food. There could be a lot of learnings from what I'm doing in toys that apply directly to food, or hardlines, or sporting goods, or entertainment. So get a network of people. I'm not saying share proprietary information or data or budgets, but collectively talk about what you've learned, what you know about the consumer, so that together you can put together a better picture of the Walmart consumer in totality, how they're shopping the entire box, because that's going to make you smarter and make you more aware of how to go after those consumers. And then the final piece of this, and this is the piece that is actually my favorite to do, is I go through and I make a recommendation on exactly what my next program is based off what I learned on this one. So I go in with my results, I build one slide, it's all together, it's all people need, and I go in and top part, original KPIs, what we delivered, key graphics on the side, recommendation right across the bottom. This is how much I would spend on future campaigns for this moving forward. This is when I would execute it. This is what I would do. And these are the different tactics I would implement to make sure we grow the return on this one even 2 or 3 times what we were before. So take all that back to your brand teams. Take that to your internal teams. Take it to your sales teams. But most importantly, take that to your retailer. Show them what you're learning about their consumer, about their customer, and about their category. That's going to make you smarter, it's going to make them smarter, and it's really going to drive a collaboration that you don't always see across companies. So that's all I've got for you today. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I will turn it over to the next group of presenters.